To jazz up a graph, you can create a graph design to add visual interest to a graph and make it look more interesting. Let's add a design to this graph to see how this works. Now I'm beginning this video with the graph_design.ai file already open on my computer. And we can see that I have a typical column graph on my artboard that I want to add some artwork to. So the first thing I want to point out is that if I select this graph using my selection tool and I go to Object under Graph, you'll notice that column and marker are currently grayed out. So what I need to do in order for them to be available is I need to create a design. So right here I have the artwork, and I'm going to go ahead and select that artwork, and I'm going to go to Object, Graph, Design, and I'm going to click on the New Design button. And that is going to take the selected artwork and add it to my list of designs. Now I'm going to go ahead and rename this. I'm going to call it Trees, and we'll go ahead and click OK. And then I'll click OK again. Now once you've created that design, you can actually delete this artwork. Because at any point in time, if you want to edit that design, you can go to Object, Graph, and choose Design. And we can just choose Paste Design. And that is going to paste that artwork onto your artboard again so you can make edits. So we don't need that anymore. We'll go ahead and delete that. And now I'm going to go ahead and select my graph, and I'm going to go to the Object menu under Graph, and I'm going to choose Column. And in the list here, I'm going to choose the trees artwork that I created previously. Now, the default column type is going to be set to vertically scaled. And the rotate legend design is already chosen. So I'll go ahead and click OK. And you can see that now we have the artwork that's applied to our graph. And as you can see, the legend has been rotated. Now let's take a look at some other options. With this selected, I can go to Object, Graph, and choose Column again. This time I'm going to go ahead and choose Uniformly Scaled, and I'm going to turn off the legend rotation. So when I click OK, you can see that the legends are no longer rotated, but these are now scaled proportionately. And they're a little bit bigger than what I'd like to see in this particular graph. So I'm going to go ahead and go back there. I'm going to select this again, go to Object, Graph, and choose Column. And let's try repeating. Now when I choose this option, I can choose how many units each design represents. So let's go ahead and type in 10. And then for fractions, we can either have the design scaled or chopped. So I'm going to choose chop, and I'll click OK. And now you can see the result that we get, any portion that is not 100% of the unit is going to get cut off at that point. Now let's look at another option. Go to Object, Graph, and choose Column. The last option is sliding. And if I click OK, this is going to scale all of the designs between the top and bottom portions. So I think I like the original version better. So let's select this, go to Object, Graph, and choose Column. And I'm going to go ahead and change that back to vertically scaled. And we'll go ahead and click OK. Now, once you have the design that you're looking for, we can adjust the color if we wish. And just like editing a graph any other way, we're going to use our group selection tool, since that's going to be the easiest method. Now, the trick when you're using a design, you'll notice that if I click once, it's going to select the art. If I click again, it selects a bounding box. So depending on what you're doing, you may or may not want to do that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to click on the first item and then just shift click on the appropriate data element for each one of the 2010 data sets. And I'm going to go ahead and come over here to the color panel, and I think I'll just kind of tweak the color here. You can try holding down the Shift key to just kind of lighten that color. And now when I click off of it, you can see that now we can definitely see the difference between the two data sets. And of course, using your type tool, we could come down here and fix this problem. I'm just going to put a softer turn in between the two words so that they are separated a little bit, have a little bit more white space in between. So as you can see, with a little bit of artwork, you can take an ordinary graph, as we saw in the beginning, and make it look much more interesting by creating a graph design.